strip mall on shots fired, recorded on a cell phone. Just after 10 a.m. Friday, police say a 37-year-old woman walked into the South Cooper Street location with a gun and opened fire on a man she had been dating as he got a haircut.
They were just all nervous and we were all scared.
Another vendor inside the Galleria had just finished with one of her clients.
I got multiple texts from them saying there was shooting happening, and I saw the cop cars in front of me. And
on a regular weekday in Arlington, Texas, a business owner walked into a familiar place. Employees were working, customers were nearby. Nothing about the setting suggested what would follow. Within minutes, police would receive a call that offered few details but demanded urgency. By the time officers arrived, the situation had already ended. The name William Todd Austin would soon appear in headlines. Some described him as an entrepreneur, others focused on the location where it happened. Early reports moved quickly, offering conclusions before timelines were fully examined. Relationships were summarized in single sentences. Motives were implied, not explained. What happened inside that salon did not begin there. It began years earlier, across personal choices, unresolved conflicts, and moments that never made the news. This story is not about a single act, but about the quiet sequence of events that led to it, and the facts that remain after the noise fades. Before we dive in, drop a comment and let us know where you're watching from. We'd love to hear from you. If you enjoy true crime stories like this, be sure to like the video, subscribe, turn on the notification bell, and share it with someone who'd love it too. On a weekday in July 2025, police in Arlington, Texas received a 911 call reporting a shooting at a hair salon located along a busy commercial corridor. The call came during normal business hours. The initial information provided to dispatch was limited. There had been gunfire, and at least one person was down. No motive was mentioned. No identities were confirmed at that point. When officers arrived, the situation was already contained. Inside the salon, they found 2 adults with gunshot wounds. Emergency responders pronounced both individuals dead at the scene. The location was secured, and nearby businesses were temporarily closed. The case immediately drew attention for several reasons. The incident occurred in a public setting during daytime hours. One of the individuals involved was quickly identified as a local business owner with an online presence. Early police statements classified the incident as a domestic-related murder-suicide, but details supporting that conclusion were not immediately released. Publicly, only basic facts were known: the location, the number of victims, and the preliminary classification. Missing were timelines, relationship history, and context. For several hours, there were no additional official updates. During that period, speculation filled the gap left by the absence of verified information. William Todd Austin was 37 years old at the time of his death. He was raised in the United States, though limited public information is available about his early childhood. Accounts from associates indicate he grew up in a structured family environment and maintained contact with relatives into adulthood. He completed his education through high school and later pursued professional development through business-related training, rather than formal higher education. From an early age, he expressed interest in financial independence and entrepreneurship. People who knew Austin described him as organized, goal-oriented, and focused on presentation. He was known to be deliberate in how he spoke about success and discipline. Within his community, he was largely recognized through his business activities rather than social or civic involvement. Austin was also a father. He referenced his children in public-facing content and described parenthood as a motivating factor in his professional efforts. Details about his private family life were not widely shared, and he maintained a separation between his business identity and personal matters. Over time, those close to him noted increasing professional pressure. The demands of running a growing business, combined with personal responsibilities, created visible strain, though no public statements at the time suggested imminent crisis. Austin entered the financial services space through credit repair, a sector focused on assisting clients in disputing inaccuracies on credit reports and improving credit scores. He later founded a company known as Credit Champs. The business marketed itself as a solution for individuals seeking better access to loans, housing, and financial opportunities. Its clientele primarily consisted of consumers with poor or limited credit histories. The company operated through consultations, service packages, and ongoing client management. Austin used social media extensively to promote his brand. He posted motivational content, business advice, and lifestyle imagery intended to project success and credibility. His online presence was a key component of customer acquisition. Financially, Credit Champs appeared successful based on visible indicators such as marketing spend, branding, and Austin's personal portrayal of achievement. However, the credit repair industry is subject to scrutiny, and like many similar businesses, it faced skepticism from critics who questioned effectiveness and transparency. No public records indicate criminal charges or confirmed regulatory violations tied directly to Austin. Running the business required constant engagement with clients, advertising, and reputation management. Associates noted that the pressure to maintain growth and public image increased over time. Business demands also appeared to intersect with personal relationships, creating overlapping stress points. Publicly available information confirms that Austin had been involved in a romantic relationship with a woman identified by police as his ex-partner. Details about how they met and the exact duration of the relationship have not been fully disclosed. Early in the relationship, there were no public indicators of conflict. Over time, however, the relationship ended. Despite the separation, communication between the two reportedly continued. Friends and acquaintances later indicated that the relationship included periods of disagreement followed by reconciliation attempts. These cycles were not publicly discussed while they were ongoing. There is no confirmed public record of restraining orders or pending court cases between the two at the time of the incident. However, unresolved disputes, emotional, personal, or otherwise, appear to have remained. The balance of power within the relationship, including financial dynamics and decision-making, has been referenced indirectly in reports but not formally detailed. What is clear is that the relationship did not fully disengage after it ended. In the weeks leading up to the shooting, people close to Austin observed changes in his routine. He appeared more guarded and less communicative about personal matters. There were no public statements indicating fear or anticipation of violence. Law enforcement later reviewed communication records between the two individuals, including phone calls and messages. Specific content has not been released publicly, but authorities indicated that ongoing contact occurred shortly before the incident. There were reports of arguments and confrontations in the broader timeline of the relationship, though none were documented as criminal incidents. No immediate intervention occurred, in part because no formal complaints had been filed. In hindsight, patterns of unresolved conflict became more apparent. At the time, however, these signals were not recognized as indicators of imminent danger. The salon was a standard commercial business operating during regular hours. It served multiple clients at once and employed staff who were present at the time of the incident. Both individuals arrived at the salon separately. The reason for their presence at the same location has been linked to personal arrangements, though precise details have not been fully disclosed. The interior included open service areas, mirrors, workstations, and a reception section. Security cameras were installed, as is typical for businesses in the area. Several people were inside or nearby when the incident occurred. Their presence transformed an ordinary workplace into a secured crime scene within minutes. Investigators reconstructed the day using surveillance footage, phone data, and witness statements. The timeline showed normal activity leading up to the arrival of both individuals. Witnesses reported hearing raised voices shortly before gunshots. No detailed dialogue has been released. Moments later, multiple shots were fired in rapid succession. Police were dispatched immediately after the 911 call. Officers arrived within minutes and entered the building. Both individuals were found with gunshot wounds. No additional suspects were identified. Emergency medical personnel confirmed both deaths at the scene. The weapon was recovered and the area was secured for investigation. In the immediate aftermath, authorities informed the public that there was no ongoing threat. The salon remained closed as investigators processed the scene. The case was later classified as a murder-suicide based on evidence collected. While many details remain undisclosed, the official investigation concluded without criminal charges due to the deaths of both individuals involved. Once the scene was secured, Arlington police began a standard homicide investigation protocol. The initial priority was determining whether there was any ongoing threat. Officers confirmed that only 2 individuals were involved and that no suspect had fled the scene. The area was then designated an active crime scene. Police classified the incident as a suspected murder-suicide within hours of the response. This classification was based on preliminary evidence observed at the location, including the positioning of the bodies, the presence of a single firearm, and the absence of signs indicating a third party's involvement. Investigators emphasized that the classification was provisional pending full forensic review. Evidence collected at the scene included the firearm, shell casings, ballistic fragments, and personal belongings. Forensic teams documented blood spatter patterns, entry and exit wounds, and distances between the individuals involved. These elements were used to reconstruct the sequence of events. Ballistics testing later confirmed that the recovered firearm was used in both shootings. The trajectory and wound analysis supported the determination that one individual was shot first, followed by a self-inflicted gunshot wound. No evidence suggested weapon malfunction or struggle over control of the firearm. Surveillance footage from inside and outside the salon was reviewed. Cameras captured arrival times, movements within the space, and the absence of additional participants. Audio, where available, confirmed raised voices shortly before gunfire. No footage showed physical intervention by others. Police issued multiple press briefings, each limited in detail. Authorities cited privacy considerations and the nature of the case as reasons for withholding certain specifics. After forensic results were finalized, law enforcement formally closed the case, confirming it as a murder-suicide with no further investigative action required. Initial media coverage focused on the location and the classification of the incident. Headlines emphasized the public setting and the domestic nature of the event. William Todd Austin's identity as a business owner was widely mentioned, often accompanied by references to his company and social media presence. As news spread, social media became a primary platform for public reaction. Posts ranged from expressions of disbelief to attempts at reconstructing events. Many users shared unverified claims, timelines, and screenshots, often without context or confirmation. Conflicting opinions emerged quickly. Some questioned the murder-suicide classification, citing the lack of publicly released evidence. Others accepted the police conclusion and criticized speculation. The absence of detailed official disclosures contributed to ongoing debate. Misinformation circulated alongside verified facts. Incorrect timelines, fabricated messages, and misidentified individuals appeared in online discussions. Law enforcement and local media outlets repeatedly clarified known facts, but false narratives continued to spread. The impact extended beyond public discourse. Credit champs experienced immediate operational disruption. Online reviews, customer inquiries, and business activities were affected as the company became linked to the incident in search results and news coverage. Austin's family faced increased public exposure, despite not being involved in the events. Funeral arrangements were handled privately. Memorial services were attended by family members, close friends, and select associates. Law enforcement presence was minimal, and no public statements were issued during services. The effects on Austin's children and relatives were largely shielded from public view. Family members avoided media engagement, and no legal disputes regarding custody or estate matters were publicly reported at the time of the investigation's conclusion. Credit Champs' operational status changed following the incident. Some services were paused, and public-facing platforms became inactive or limited. It remains unclear whether the business continued under new management or ceased operations entirely. From a legal standpoint, the case reached its conclusion once the investigation was closed. No criminal charges were filed due to the deaths of both involved individuals. Civil actions were not publicly disclosed. Despite the official conclusion, questions remained. Certain communication records were never released. The precise catalyst for the final confrontation was not detailed publicly. These gaps left portions of the timeline unresolved in the public record. Cases involving domestic conflict that occur in public spaces follow recurring patterns. They often involve individuals with ongoing personal disputes that escalate outside private settings. Such incidents challenge assumptions that domestic violence is confined to homes. Access to firearms plays a significant role in escalation. Investigations frequently reveal that moments of confrontation become fatal due to immediate access to a weapon. In many cases, there are no prior criminal records or formal complaints. These cases are often oversimplified in early reporting. Labels such as domestic dispute or murder-suicide can compress complex histories into brief conclusions. The absence of long-term context reduces public understanding of how such outcomes develop. This case illustrates how outward stability, business ownership, public success, and online visibility can coexist with unresolved personal conflict. The lack of visible warning signs underscores the difficulty of identifying risk before escalation occurs. What is known with certainty is limited to verified evidence: 2 individuals, a single firearm, and a sequence of events confirmed by forensic analysis and surveillance footage. Law enforcement findings support the conclusion reached. What may never be known includes the full content of private communications, internal motivations, and the precise moment when resolution became confrontation. These elements remain inaccessible. The case highlights the gap between public image and private reality. Professional success and social visibility did not prevent personal conflict from progressing unchecked. This story continues to matter because it reflects broader issues that recur across similar cases. It demonstrates how quickly ordinary environments can become sites of irreversible events, and how incomplete information shapes public understanding long after investigations end.